It's September it's September 30th, 2024. Um Hurricane Helene came through Augusta, Georgia, and we've been without power. It's now um it's now been, I think this is the third day without power. It's Monday. Hurricane came through Thursday, no, Friday morning. And that's when it knocked the power out. um I know it's not been long without the power, by no means, but the silence and solitude is really starting to play with my head. Oh, I and I'm someone that loves to be alone, but it's the lack of distraction. Um, because on the first night, like you've not been without power that long, and the cell phone signal worked great the first day, flawlessly. The second day, it starts to set in that you know your food's about to go bad. So, we started cooking all the frozen stuff. Well, it wasn't frozen no more, but. And the cell phone signal was a little spotty. Um, on the second day. But, like the third day, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, yesterday. Yeah, it was a little rough. And then today, it's been out like 95% of the day, 99%. It'll come on for like 30 seconds every now and then. And there's a lot of things I'm stressing about with like regular life. And it's really difficult to deal with it when I'm cut off from my normal luxuries of life. Reliable internet, reliable ways to message people, to call them, things like that. But I don't think it matters, because this has been kind of an eye opener in terms of like the people that like really care or are really there for me. They're not, like, almost non-existent. And what makes it tough, on the first day I stepped out in my front yard and like the whole neighborhood was coming together. And I felt like it was like happening around me. I would get on Facebook and like everybody's like conversating on everybody's posts, checking up on each other, asking if they need help. And I love it. It's great. You want to see more of it. That didn't last. I mean, people are still helping each other, but people are definitely getting restless, understandably. But it's not happening here. It's not happening here. Not at my house. Thankfully, there's been, we've had my mom and her fiance, and that's been pretty much it. Not heard from any of my so called friends, which isn't a surprise because anytime we go for extended periods of time, none of them hit me up, you know, except for one. But even then, it takes him like a month. It's really difficult because I knew these things were happening before. Not having people in my life, and then the people that are in my life are like robots, and that just give you very generic one-liners no matter what it is. Um, you don't hear from like most of your family. Like my family didn't really come together. And then there's people that are in my life now. It's a couple of them. They're friends also, but not the ones I was talking about. My other friends, I've known them for like 8 or 10 years, and we met through gaming. You know, they're supposed to be my boys. But now, talking about some other friends that are still in my life, that have been in my life for like a long ass time, and they live locally or have lived locally. And I wouldn't say I've relied on them to talk to them, but it would have been nice. It would have been nice to get checked on a little bit more often. There's some real life things going on. It would be nice to know what's going on in those departments. It'd just be nice to have someone to talk to on a regular basis. It'd just be nice to have someone that actively cared about your life. And it seems like every now and then I'll run into these people, usually old friends, that that will show it for a little while. That doesn't last. I've always been a loner. I always enjoyed more time by myself than with others. But sometimes it's not what you need. You know what the craziest thing about like all the extra silence at night? You don't have all your electronics on and stuff. The crazy thing is it's actually feels louder than when everything's running and stuff. Because you got this, like, I got this constant hiss in my ears because of how quiet it is. It is so loud. I think when I get power back, before the next time we get hit with a power outage, I'm gonna make sure I got like some downloaded audio of a fan or the rain. Something to drown the sound out. The, something to drown the silence out. My thoughts aren't very organized. Trying to force myself to talk because I wanted to talk on the camera for the last night or two. I've been so down that I even wanted to do that. So I'm thankful I still got my grandma because if it wasn't for her, I truly would be alone through this storm. And I can't stop thinking about my daughter and how stressed out she is. And like, it's so stressful because I don't really know what's going on in her life. It feels like a lot of things are deliberately being kept from me, whether it's true or not. You know, because that could just be something in my head. Things feel weird and very off in my life right now. I'm just so scared for her. I wish she had more people. How do I word this? This video ain't for nobody intentionally, but I don't know who's gonna see it. You know what? I'm not being as open as I want to be in this one, but that's okay. We're gonna get there. I want her to be more surrounded by better decisions, good decisions, positive vibes, support. She has a lot of that. I know that. She needs me. That's how I feel. I don't know if that's how she feels. I really don't know what she thinks of me at all. Me and Beth have not talked about any conversations that they've had about me. So I really don't know where I stand in her life at all. She's going through so much. Maybe she doesn't have time to think about it. I don't know. I wouldn't blame her. I don't want to go too deep into everything that's stressing me out with, you know, my daughter and, her mom. At least not in this video. It's just. It's like a moment of clarity of realizing just like how lonely I've become. I've kind of like actively chosen to shut myself off from the world. You know, a lot of people believe a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit on the internet. And sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that's not buying into it. I'm not even talking like necessarily political, but I don't want to go into it too deep, but it's like whenever I'm around like different kinds of people, it's almost like you're stepping into like different realities. Like everybody has like their own reality of the world. And then there's me that knows that there's a reality, but I don't buy into any of it that's shown to me. I take that back. Some things I do accept as reality, but it's usually like let's use a generic example. Like, let's say people are saying somebody did something. Well, unless, or said something, like, unless I heard or seen that person do that thing, like, you telling me about it doesn't mean jack shit in my head. It goes in one ear and out the other. And that's just like a generic, like, example of, like, what I mean. It's just such a strange feeling. Like, depending on who's next to you or who you're interacting with in the moment, it's like a different world. It's such a strange, odd feeling, and it makes it very difficult to. I mean, I've already got problems holding conversations with people, and social anxiety, and being awkward, but it makes it so much more difficult because you're not just living in one world. You're living in 1,000 different worlds, an infinite amount of worlds, an infinite amount of realities. It's so weird. Even me, even I have my own reality. Despite, not really taking anything too serious. Like this hurricane's a good example. After the first or second day, I was like on social media, Twitter, and I saw a post about a dude that claimed he lived in Tallahassee or whatever, like right there on the coast, and he's like, the weather stations are claiming the storm are over my head. And they're showing images of rain and wind and damage, and I'm standing here and nothing is happening. And we all know, like, I know that's bullshit. Like, come on. But, like, the hurricane went right over our house, like, literally. But, how do you know? I'm just a guy in the dark recording this. How do you know my power's out? You don't. How do you know I really don't have internet? You don't. I told you it was September 30th at the beginning of this video. You don't know that. How do you know that the voice you're hearing is real? You don't. I'm just a guy that picked up his phone in the dark and decided to start recording in Yap. And if anybody sees this, you have an important decision to make. Am I seeing? Is what I'm seeing reality? And that's the kind of perspective I have with everything. I'm a nobody sitting in my house living in the United States. I mean nothing to nobody important. So why would I expect myself to have any knowledge of what's actually happening out there? Why do I think the information that is going in my brain is more correct than anybody else's on the face of this planet? And that's why I don't think that way. Did the cat get eaten or did the cat not get eaten? That's the question that people are asking. But I don't think that's the right question you need to be asking. That is not the question to be asking. I've spent a lot of time on Facebook the last few days when I have had cell phone signal. It is so crazy because I remember making my profile like all of them years ago. Like, I don't remember the details, but I remember when Facebook first became a thing. And now I get on there, and it's been taken over by AI systems. You go to the chat of a post that has like 3,000 comments, and this is such cool technology, and it creates a summary out of those 3,000 comments. But what the average stupid person doesn't know is that Facebook controls that AI. So when I read that summary, I don't necessarily believe it. But it is really cool. I love the AI development, but you can also see it consuming the world. It's very quickly. They added a feature where you could use AI to help assist you hold a conversation with a real person, structure your sentences better, or, you know. If you go to the Facebook has a shorts, like video shorts section, like every site does. Um, Sometimes I'll click on them, and I don't get lost in that stuff. That 30-second video dopamine hit shit. Yeah. Fortunately, I've not gotten addicted to anything like that. I don't like that kind of like content. But I'll click on them, and like there's the most obvious like AI mistakes in these videos. Like I saw one of a guy like kicking a crocodile in the head, and you could see like like the white stripe on his shoe like melted into the crocodile's mouth like in a weird AI glitchy way. And it's like you go to the comments, it's so no, not so many people. Almost everybody is treating the video like it's real. It is so crazy. You really like love and embrace the technology, and then you go see how people are interacting with it, and you're like, oh, like we've already passed the point of no return. I know they say like the AI singularity is, people are saying that they're expecting it to happen in 2025, and I'm sorry, I think it's already happened. You know, one of the new things this week is it's been really expensive, the AI stuff, and but over time it's becoming more and more affordable, and like so like recently like you've been able to make your own AI videos, and that's something like the general public, you had to pay a lot of money to do stuff like that, and now it's just free for the general public. I remember when the AI photo generation happened, and now we're seeing it happen all over again in a very short period of time. Music, voices, video, text, like I can write a simple paragraph and have AI completely code something for me. Like our our lives are changing before our eyes. And some people are on the ride and don't know they're on the ride. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it though, man. It's so exciting for me. It's so exciting. But I think it's really important for people to be aware of. of just how much it's consumed their lives. I think that's where I think that's like one of the biggest like issues of why it's consuming the world is because people aren't realizing when it's in front of them. And you know what's so funny about being somebody that has spent so much time going down these rabbit holes and like absorbing knowledge on it and playing with it like hands on is I know for a fact that I've been tricked. I know I have. I had to have. There's like no way. Is like I got a Hawkeye for it, but there's no way like I haven't like accepted something, whether it was text, a picture, a video. There's no way I've like not seen something and didn't think it was like it didn't cross my mind, like it could be fake. It's so gnarly. I grew up in the 90s, pre 9/11. Like it really distorts your perception of time. It does. And before I get into that, which I do want to get into, I'm going to stop this one and make a part two because we're at 32 minutes, and I'm going to talk for a little bit more, but not much longer. I know I'm just yapping, but I'm lonely.